well, starting with a cat.
Yeah, starting with a cat.
Expecting miracles. I don't know how long it'll stay.
I reckon the whole time. He looks pretty comfy.
Oh, good.
Look at him. Oh, that's so funny. So we're expecting miracles this Thursday.
Yeah, Thankful Thursday, expecting miracles.
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the fifth in our 5 values that we have in our organisation. And it's the 5th one on purpose, isn't it, really? Because we kind of did them in order, didn't we? Which was...
Yeah.
Have, what was it? Commit and be disciplined. So what's your intention? What do you want? Be disciplined about it. Then love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself, that's right.
Because it's really important that you do that. Then have fun.
Yeah. And then care.
And if you're doing all of those things, you get to expect miracles.
Yeah. You actually just have to be aware and welcoming of them, don't you?
Totally.
Because being alive every day is a bit of a miracle.
Oh, isn't it? I'm alive.
Yeah. Waking up every morning.
Yeah, it is a miracle. But I think we take, like, that's, I think the thing, like, we take so much for granted that we actually just miss all the great stuff that's happening in our lives. And also humans, we've got this negativity bias. So we're like, oh, look at all the bad stuff.
Our brain's always looking for what's going to go wrong.
Yes.
So we're already, what is it, about 70% looking for bad compared with looking for the good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's a training thing, really, isn't it? A train ourselves. And one of the ways that I did that is through a gratitude practice.
Yeah.
So the idea that you look for the good in your life and make a statement of, I'm grateful for the flowers because it brings joy to me when I see them, I'm grateful to Christina because I just love working with her.
Same. Like, not me. I'm grateful for Audrey.
And when you have a practice...
There she goes.
Bye, Kat.
Here she goes.
When you have a practice of gratitude, I found that actually that negativity bias in my head was flipped.
Totally.
Because I knew that at the end of the day, before I went to sleep, I was going to be looking for 5 good things or 3 good things or something that had happened during my day. So I was deliberately looking for them and noticing. And isn't that the thing about perception?
Yeah.
You see what you look for.
Exactly. And that's you're absolutely right. The training for having a miracle mindset is really about training your mind to see the world differently.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, because our perceptions change the world, don't they?
Totally.
So that whatever you're thinking about or looking for, a typical one is about, oh, look, it's such a terrible day today, it's raining. Well, actually, that bit when you said it's a terrible day, it's got nothing to do with it. It's raining.
Yeah.
That's the fact.
Yeah. You
can choose to be miserable if you want to, or you can put your raincoat on and go outside and have a good time.
Sing in the rain.
Yeah.
There's a whole song and stage show and everything about that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Don't take out the roses. Yeah.
So your perception determines your reality.
Totally does, and it determines your ability to receive the miracles that are coming your way, right?
Okay.
Because there's this whole, from a Course in Miracles perspective, miracles are natural. They should be happening, and if they're not happening in your life, then something's wrong, right?
Okay.
And so
you've got a block or a barrier.
Yeah, exactly. You're not allowing yourself to see the miracle in the moment, or to be seeing the flow of life that's moving through you and with you and for you.
Yeah.
So it's all about the interpretation of every experience that you apply.
Yeah, of the actual physical event of whatever's happening.
Yeah. And then if you break it down even more, there's nothing from a yogic perspective, the world is neutral.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have good or bad in it. It just is.
It just is. It's neutral, right? And everything that we look at, we give it meaning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a blue sky out the window there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And we could say, oh, it's a lovely sunny day.
Yes, we give it the meaning.
Yeah. Or I'm also looking at my garden. Yeah. So I could say, oh, there's a lot of weeds in my garden. Yeah. Well, okay, there may be, but actually I can see a lot of flowers as well. But you know, there are a lot of plants in my garden. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And then I can choose to say whether I'm noticing whether I'm noticing the flowers or the weeds.
Totally. And that's, you're choosing, you're noticing, you're choosing your point of focus, which is another thing we talk a lot about in yoga, the drishti point, like choose your point of focus.
Yeah.
And then you're choosing the interpretation that you apply to that. What's the meaning you give it? And then you're creating the miracle, or you're creating your own softening.
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 No more softening.
No more softening.
Right. Suffering. Yeah, we don't want any of that.
No.
All right.
So you're creating that through your interpretation, and then this willingness to see it differently. Like if I'm looking at something and interpreting it in a certain way, then the miracle is the willingness to see it differently, or the miracle is in any given moment choosing to offer someone love, or the moment love and compassion, versus reacting. Or doing whatever you might normally do. Yeah.
I was just talking with friends yesterday actually about that. I don't know if you had to walk to school as a kid, but we did a lot. And it always seemed such a long way. And I think nobody ever offered me an alternative view, because in fact I could usually just do one more step.
Yeah.
And one more step wasn't too hard, so I could step once again and whatever.
Yeah.
But I was focused on the distance to my home, to my house. And so when I was thinking about that's such a long way, that's so hot, it's so cold, it's so wet, whatever, that was my perception of it. Whereas in fact, if people had just, if I'd been encouraged to think, well, just take one more step, just get to the end of the street, just one more step, that's a change in perception, isn't it? And you're still doing the same task, but your brain's got a different thing to be focusing on.
Totally.
Positively.
What's happening now, not versus where you have to get to.
Yeah, and I suppose you could use that as a metaphor for lots of parts of our lives.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about yoga, I'm never going to do... it's no use me doing yoga because I'm never going to be able to sit comfortably on the floor, or I'm never going to have my... toes to my head or something silly like that, which none of us usually get to anyway, because that's not the point. But that's the
But
thing.
it would be a miracle if we did.
Yeah, and maybe because I've said I couldn't, I can't. That's that kind of thing of what we say is what our perception is. But really, the idea is that it's a practice. So you get on the mat and you practice something, and you might do it again, or you might not do it again, or however it is. It's that time. Yeah. And that's the only time you need to worry about. You don't have to have expectations. You don't have to have any memories of how you did it before. Just how it is for you in that moment. And that's the miracle, isn't it?
It is the miracle, but it's that dedication to the practice, and the practice. And this is why we call it a practice, like a yoga practice or a spiritual practice or a mindfulness practice. Is that the practice has cumulative benefits. So your commitment, back to, value number one, and your discipline around the practice creates accumulation over time. And I remember, like I set a goal when I was like, as an adult I can do handstand. So I set that as a goal, and it took me 3 years of dedicated practice to be able to hold handstand in the middle of the room for 10 seconds, which had been my goal. Or I even remember doing a yoga class online and doing a pose that many years earlier had been totally out of my reach, and I was like, whoa, yeah, the miracle has happened.
Yeah.
And it's the practice creates the cumulative effects that you can be ready to receive the miracle, because you have to create the container
the sort of the space or the preparedness. Well, it's the same reason that I got into yoga as well, because I used to go to classes, but to actually have a home practice, my teacher had a little routine that was just like a low lunge. It was swinging your arms one way and the other and whatever, and I couldn't balance. And I thought to myself, I really want to be able to do this. I should be able to function as an adult and do this, so I need to do it every day, and that's how I can do it. And it's the same with you. The same thing with me is that I was following a class online as well, and reaching back with the opposite hand to the foot. I haven't even been able to do that before, and the other day I was like, well, there's my foot, and there's my hand, yay! But it's the practice, the cumulative practice. I mean, as kids, we sort of know that, you don't learn to ride a bike by just picking up the bike and cycling away.
No.
Or do you remember learning to skip with a rope? God, the times you just had to jump over it or tangled on your legs, but you kept practicing.
Yes.
And you got better, and you could do it, you could ride the bike, and it's the same. It's actually the same with your life, really, isn't it?
It is.
Let's be deep and meaningful.
Oh, definitely.
Thankful Thursday, let's be deep and meaningful, expecting miracles in your life. You have to practice your life.
You have to, but you have to practice in the direction that you want to go, right? Because when you lean in the direction of your dreams, then the universe leans in towards you as well. Like the universe wants you to be happy. The universe wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to do well. So it's gonna like boom, oh yeah, she's showing up for herself. I'm coming in. Move over, sister. Let me. But the problem is we get so power versus force. We move into the forcing energy and we think we have to make it happen.
Yeah.
And the miracle mindset is knowing that we don't have to make it happen. We have to just step into our own power. We have to build the container through our practice and then make room for the miracle or grace to just flow in.
Yeah. So that's the leaning forward. We're not rushing at it like a bull at a gate or anything. We're just leaning in the direction we want to go in, and we're practicing.
Yes.
And we're practicing, and we can expect miracles.
Yes, because the leaning in means that the universe is going to lean towards you, and you have to believe that the universe wants for you, probably wants more for you actually than what you want for yourself. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's set the bar too low again.
Yeah.
Oh well, but that's the thing. You have to be able to believe it to see it, and so your training is to create the mindset to be able to see what it is that you're cultivating or leaning into towards your life, and then to see that the universe is sending you signals along the way to say you're on the right path. Yeah.
So a few years ago, what we're talking about would seem kind of a bit weird to me, because I really wasn't in that mindset of thinking about the world in this way. And so I think for me, again, it's back to a practice. So it is a practice of, I started meditation for a medical reason, actually, to have to reduce my pain. But it's that practice, and meditation gives you the space to not be thinking particularly. You're able to be just there. And I did a meditation practice where somebody would be talking to me and I would have some space to just receive without having to have any thinking. And so I think if you're listening to this and thinking, well, I don't really know where to start, the first thing is start. Just start.
Absolutely.
Do something. Do something new. Take a step in the right direction. Take a gratitude practice. Start yoga more regularly. Meditate. Even commit to going for a walk every day outside somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. But where do you begin? If you want to end up in this miracle mindset, in this place of people, I've got people now who look at me and go, wow, your life is so in the flow. And I'm like, yeah, that's how my life is, because it should be that way, and so too should yours.
Yeah.
But if you think about the values that we've set up, you've got to commit and be disciplined to this bigger vision for your life, or the outcome that you're moving towards. And it could be I'm going to say simple, but I know doing a handstand isn't simple. But it could be as simple as doing a handstand, or it could be
a downward facing dog. Maybe some people find that hard, or actually, when you first started yoga, you found sitting up with your legs out straight.
I found sitting up hard.
Yeah. So that took a discipline and a commitment to being more comfortable on the floor,
on a chair,
just whatever,
standing,
Yeah.
But it could even be something even bigger, like I don't know, I want to create a multi-million-dollar business, or I want just sit and then commit to it and be disciplined about moving towards it. And then you get into the work is about loving yourself, right? So to be create the container to be someone who can receive and give miracles, you have to purify the container, right? You have to be a clear vessel. Yeah.
And so purposefully live your life.
Yeah.
So you don't, so you make choices around what you're going to eat, drink, how you're going to behave, who you're going to spend time with, what you're going to read, watch, do with your life. You know, that's all that that's the commitment part of it, isn't it? So again, where do you start? Well, just start. You know, I know with a walking practice, if you're going to start going for a walk every day, the first day you might just find your shoes and put them by the door.
Yeah.
You know, the next day you might put them on and walk to the gate or walk out your drive or whatever you've got, walk downstairs. You know, just do it.
Yeah.
And be committed to doing it, and as you feel able to, do a little bit more each day.
Yeah. And then move into the loving yourself, having fun. Make sure you're having fun along the way.
That's right. But it's so much easier to love yourself when you keep your own promises.
Totally.
So if you've promised yourself, right, for the whole of this month, from the whatever day, the 5th of this month to the 5th of next month, you're going to be able to have the commitment to do this job, and I'm going to do it a little bit every day for the next 30 days. You can feel so proud of yourself.
Totally, because you're keeping your commitment to yourself, and that's building your confidence, it's building your esteem, it's building your self-image. And the universe is fun, so have fun. You're meant to be enjoying life. You really are. Like, your purpose is to be joyful, and I don't care, like, you know, what brings everyone joy is different. We get that, right? So do no harm and have fun.
Yeah.
Because the universe will be like, whoa, I don't know, if you've seen people who are smiling and happy and joyful, there's an attractive, magnetic energy to it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice smiling at yourself in the mirror.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a good way to start as well.
Yeah.
Every time you see a mirror for the next week or so, give yourself a smile.
Yeah. Like, no more resting bitch faces.
Out of here.
Because you know what? Yeah, it's not attractive. Like,
Yeah.
but we think it like this is attractive.
That's why we have so much fun, because we're smiling all the time.
And you know what? We're only using 13 muscles, not 64. Because frowning is a 64 muscle exercise.
Right.
13 muscles for smiling.
Oh, so you're actually resting while you're smiling.
Yeah. You are. This is.
Hope you're smiling too.
But that energy brings in the miracles, because you're creating the container, and you have to build the container to be able to give and receive miracles. You have to there's a real level of trust and faith and knowing and believing that whatever your heart desires, it's coming to you and it will arrive. And don't try and force it.
Yeah.
Don't be like, it hasn't got here yet.
Yeah, or something's got in the way. Well, actually, maybe you just need to deal with that something. Yeah. That's part of the journey, part of the, it's actually, you've got to take this path to get around the corner to go to there or whatever. So
it might be part of the purification process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't always easy.
No.
Because sometimes you just have to get rid of that. We always seem to be talking about baggage and
exactly.
suitcases full of stuff.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you just have to meet that challenge and do the learning from it and move on.
Totally. And then
expect miracles.
Boom.
Boom. Expect miracles. Namaste.
Namaste.
Smile.
Yeah, a lot.